Johnny Somali.
He's that one IRL streamer that went to Japan and streamed himself being racist to Japanese people.
Being obnoxious, being a nuisance, things you cannot do in Japan.
It's a mystery how he hasn't been deported or...
Gonna come up to me, bro, why are you being racist to other people in other countries? For money, for clout.
I've said it many times. I don't give a I have no morals. I'm a sociopath. I don't give a
It's the peak of the day in South Korea. Engaged South Koreans hastily moving on to their next destination. Heading to the office, heading out for a bite to eat. The children are collected from school. Everyone exists in their own unique reality. Only one individual is left standing. American Ramsey gazing askance, perhaps looking back. It appears he may be involved in something questionable. He's live streaming on his phone, and as he sets down his backpack and positions his phone, viewers catch a glimpse of a woman standing in front of Ramsey. He takes out his portable speaker and cranks up a song for everyone to hear in the middle of a public street.
Most demonic that ever turned a camera on. I'm the most evil person that ever used the internet. I'm the most evil person to ever use a camera. I'm a sexual deviant. I am a criminal. What I don't do off camera, you will never see. I'm like Epstein.
All in all, he's looking at 29 years in prison right now.
29 years!
They sing. Last night, I was left without a response. My sense of pride held me back from making the call. Last Night is a track by Diddy, also known as P. Diddy or Puff Daddy. Ramsey, the American, deliberately walks towards the woman and removes his shirt, leaving himself bare-chested.
What do you want to talk about? Swing or not? Like, gonna come up to me, bro, why are you being racist to other people in other countries? For money, for clout.
I've said it many times. I don't give a I have no morals. I'm a fucking sociopath. I don't give a Put this in your next YouTube documentary. I don't give a
You guys only saw me dancing with the statue. And honestly, if I could take it back, I won't. How about that? I'm not sorry. Apologize. I refuse. I won't. So what are you gonna do about it?
Picked up a bottle of baby oil from the sidewalk. He applies it to his chest openly in the bright light of day in Seoul. A gathering of Korean passers-by creates a scene of intrigue. Attempting to make contact with the woman in an inappropriate manner, he's applying baby oil on this woman and performing a dance around her.
So to all the people of South Korea, I just want to apologize for what I've done, and I really did not mean to hurt your guys' pride this much. You guys are good people. You guys are great people. And for the most part, other than Mr. Navy SEAL here, I've had a great experience with a lot of the South Korean people, and it was not my intention to really hurt you guys, and I hope you guys can accept my apology. So when I saw this statue, I came upon it on my stream. At first, I really didn't know what it was. So now after I see the reaction from the Korean people, I see that it really hurt you guys, and my intention in coming to Korea was not to cause this kind of shitstorm. My intention was to come here, do my live streams, make content, and be funny. It wasn't really, I didn't want to cause pain or get anybody in trouble.
The Koreans shout at him in their native language. He yells in English. He moves wildly and shouts. It appears he is aggressively addressing his live broadcast audience. It seems they are planning to involve law enforcement against me. But for what purpose? For what purpose? What did I do wrong?
What am I going to jump? America! I'm from America! I'm from America! USA! 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 I'm from America! USA! 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 I'm from America! USA! My phone! My phone! My phone! Daloto! Daloto! I'm from America! Daloto!
Expressing my feelings for her is my aim. What's the reason behind that? To convey my deep feelings for her. What was his constant refrain? Express affection, absolutely. He likely expressed that sentiment overall, but indeed the audience becomes so incensed that he stops dancing with the woman. His shirt has returned and he takes a seat. If streamed live, it would undoubtedly capture widespread attention in South Korea and dominate the headlines. Reaching a congressional hearing positioned him as the prime focus for South Koreans. The bronze statue he's applying baby oil to, while blasting Diddy's songs, unmistakably represents her. She commemorates the countless girls and women who endured suffering and hardship during wartime. For years, girls and women were subjected to being essayed 40-60 times a day to provide solace to warriors. Ramsey is set to face scrutiny in South Korea following the viral spread of this video. On day 35 in South Korea, Ramsey will endure numerous street assaults, resulting in broken eyebrows and lips. The fascinating aspect is that he is unable to depart from South Korea. Authorities confiscated his passport. Authorities are scrutinizing his actions. At present, he is the subject of a contentious pursuit for sport in South Korea.
What is this? Call the police.
Johnny Somali, Ramzi Khalid Ismail, is a figure who has sparked significant discontent among many in South Korea. When addressing the histories or misdeeds of particular nations, it's important to clarify that this is not intended to diminish their people or culture. Just as Americans prefer not to be defined by the actions of their politicians or government, which many vehemently oppose, the same principle applies here. This principle is universally applicable. This statement is not intended to single out any specific place, as every region and nation has a history that may evoke discomfort or shame. At last, the American streamer goes by the name Johnny Somali. His Wikipedia entry states that he is half Somali, yet in a video he claims to be part Ethiopian and Yemeni. While he might not have Somali roots, a significant number of Somalis expressed dissatisfaction with his choice to adopt a Somali name, as it reflects poorly on their community. It's not just a handful of TikTokers pointing fingers, there's a rising wave of global apprehension. His username for this video is quite the attention grabber, Johnny Salami. Salami, really, resembling something tangible and provocative. I believe we ought to refrain from using his username since he isn't Johnny Somali. I will refer to him as Ramzi Khalid Ismail, the name given to him by the government. Ramzi's nationality is American. It's possible he moved at a young age. I'm uncertain, yet he possesses a U.S. passport. He holds American nationality and is a citizen of the United States. He shall be known as Ramzi Khalid Ismail. Let's dive right in. Are you familiar with the game? Where is Waldo? Victory in the game comes from identifying a figure amidst a crowd. It's akin to an enormous game of hide and seek. Today, South Korea finds itself in the midst of this situation. South Koreans are on the hunt for Ramzi, an American streamer, rather than the familiar figure in the red and white striped shirt. According to one netizen, Ramzi's biggest mistake was allowing South Koreans to channel their anger into playing Ramzi catch. South Korea stands out with its intense passion and exceptional gaming prowess. Ramzi believes he's managing to keep things under wraps. It is common for many Koreans to wear all black during the winter months. Subtle, yet striking, it harmonizes effortlessly with any style. Ramzi sported it alongside a black beanie. Even in a tranquil corner of Seoul, tucked away in alleyways with his two friends, he finds himself pursued. Two friends. Who's really the better choice? At least one hails from America. The other is probably a Korean national who was expelled from America and held for firearm offenses. His background is Korean. The alternative is from the United States. They all hail from America, so they journey here as a pair. Do they? I hold the view that the Korean has been deported and now lives there. Incredible. All right.
This message is for Johnny Somali.
So Johnny, not only are you pissing off Koreans all over the world, but you just pissed off a lot of the wrong people. Don't come back to America, Mr. Somali. It's your only warning. How many do you want to lose, Johnny? Because the price that you need to pay for playing stupid games is the lives of your crew, your family, and everyone you're goddamn connected to.
You gotta watch your back. We're not to be with. With us in LA, we go on the roofs and literally snipe you, motherfucker. You with us in the motherland, you're dead. Like, you gotta watch your back, I'm telling you. If you're in a 20-mile radius to where I live, be prepared to see, like, straight up. And I'm saying this as an American. I'm a Korean American, right? But it's in my bones. When people with Koreans, I intrinsically have this desire to make them find out.
Ramzi currently resides in South Korea on a daily basis. A prize lies in wait for him. I will be. His location is valued at $770, but that could be seen as provocative. As he wanders through the alley, the sounds reach his ears, stirring a sense of unease. Koreans are pursuing him. In the eerie silence of the empty streets, he makes his escape. No one is around. No one can rescue him with mere words. Even if he did, who can guarantee they won't jump in and overpower him? He could very well be considering that. Perhaps he's escaping, leaving us in complete silence. A sizable Korean man appears to be pursuing him down the alleyway, or so it seems. Upon arriving at Ramsey, the Korean man grabs the back of his jacket and flings him over his shoulder, strikes him in the chest and face on the frigid street pavement. After uploading the video, I've never witnessed a country so collectively questioning why it shouldn't be repeated. What's going on? What makes violence permissible? What is going on with Ramsey in South Korea? South Korea faces a significant issue with bullying, and OneNet is being discussed in the comments.
Nuisance streamer who travels around the world just getting his ass beat. He is literally like a piñata that gets delivered to different countries for the citizens to beat up and take some anger out on, because he's a racist asshole who does his best to disrupt society and make everyone's lives around him miserable. So it's justified that people just beat his ass, because he is just this miasma of cringe and just in general piece of shit.
Yo.
The narrative around Korean bullying is shifting towards a more constructive perspective. The public is outraged by Ramsey's actions, the target of national blame. Ramsey and his companion Gino, also an American streamer, navigate through yet another alleyway. Both are streamers in real life. Are they broadcasting on Twitch or what? Following his ban from Twitch, Ramsey made the move to Kick. Kick decided to ban him. His YouTube account faced a ban. I believe he might be on Rumble. He continues to face exclusion. As IRL streamers, they enjoy wandering through unfamiliar towns or countries, streaming live from their phones and relying on Starlink for connectivity. Many individuals wield extended selfie sticks attached to their phones, broadcasting live as they navigate the streets. Their simultaneous broadcasting offers a dual lens on the same situation, provoking thought and discussion. This South Korean street-side scene unfolds at night, yet the atmosphere is bustling with people all around, creating a lively and dynamic environment. Ramsey's stream takes an unexpected downturn. It seems he might have dropped his phone, resulting in it going black. What on earth just occurred? His friend Gino's broadcast will feature his stream abruptly ending in the middle of a sentence. Ramsey's phone drop was not a mere accident. He was standing on the street when a man of Korean descent approached and struck him. Confronts Ramsey before departing. He strolls away with an air of nonchalance, hands tucked in his pockets, as if the events that just transpired were of no consequence. This clip implies an attack that appears to be unprompted and unprovoked, especially in a world devoid of context and nuance. While you might hold that view, the feedback tells a different story. Captain Korea, check out the most talked about comments. That is what he is called now. We have a strong admiration for him. Get him a beer, impressive landing, and striking. Repeat it. According to translations from South Korean netizens, such patriots are seen as defenders of the nation's honor.
You know why you do this? Pearl Harbor? Hiroshima, Nagasaki! You're being obnoxious. You know what we do to you? What do you do? We will do again.
You're not a comedian.
I think
No, you're not. You're a nobody. You came over here, you insulted the people, and you're not taking responsibility for it.
Okay.
Right?
Don't tell me you are going to drop atomic bomb on Japan. Okay? Okay. The Japanese don't think you are good. Okay. I apologize to the Japanese.
Back then, Johnny Somali's like to dislike ratio was completely in the negative for some reason. Even back in the early stages of social media, before he would be an international menace, people just clicked on his streams and went, yeah, f this guy. I don't really know why.
Some believe he should be hitting more. In reality, he is truly worthy of the Heroic Citizen Award. What did Ramsey do to warrant this treatment? Could it be that he engaged in a dance with a statue? What's going on? Ramsey embarked on a global journey aimed at undermining the reputation of Americans prior to his arrival in South Korea. His whole agenda, however, his antics are just getting started. He live streams himself targeting Japanese citizens with absurdly offensive behavior, and he garners more attention for that than for vlogging and showcasing his meals. No one seems to pay attention to when Japan concluded 2023. Did we witness this on the subway? Appreciated a subway exclusively for women. Oh, the man certainly stands out. All right. Some IRL streamers are causing significant disruption in Japan. That's outrageous. This is a notable trend with Japanese individuals expressing their discontent towards tourists. They express strong disdain towards you. It would be best if you stayed away. It's absolutely unacceptable. It's truly shocking. While tourism can be advantageous for nations, this particular form is not beneficial. Ramsey would claim that on Japanese subways, everyone is giving him disapproving looks. He's suggesting that every Japanese person is inherently hostile and prejudiced simply because you're live streaming and holding a camera, while he keeps insisting that everyone is giving him disapproving glares, as if they are the ones at fault.
And the police, from what I believe, were watching people that were watching him and were making comments on, where the police were kind of making sure that he's not attacked. But my understanding is the police are not protecting Johnny. They're not keeping him close because they're protecting him. They're keeping him close because they were formulating a case, which they filed today. So they had a ton of people watching this one, and they announced the fact that he was actually criminally booked today.
He ultimately tells his audience that he's not trying to present Japan in a favorable light to outsiders. He's attempting to undermine the reputation of foreigners. His declaration, "I'm not a role model." Additionally, he refers to everyone in Japan as a non-playable character. He will roam around live streaming, declaring wild. These are just NPCs. They're all just NPCs, man. Every non-playable character. As a brief aside, NPCs refer to non-playable characters found in games that provide side quests. When women chose not to participate in his live stream, he made a quip about their excessive use of filters. Thus, they are unable to reveal their identities. Simply offensive and discriminatory. One might contend that Ramsey relies heavily on filters. He continues to behave in a disrespectful manner, showing a blatant disregard for other cultures and their conventions. He'll live stream himself entering eateries in Japan and aggressively shaking menus, highlighting the Mulan language. That's utterly absurd. He would shout and get intoxicated in public, here to disrupt Japan's society, drop a nuclear emoji in conversation. The clip of Ramsey sitting on a Japanese metro vehicle featuring the nuke emoji has gone viral for all the wrong reasons. Ramsey observes a Japanese man beside him, remaining still as he utters Hiroshima. The guy looks perplexed. What's with the mention of an arbitrary Japanese city?
Before this, I was a student, I was a bot, I was a robot, I was somebody who was stuck in the hamster wheel of life. When I went to school for those 4 years, I did really well in finance, but I was depressed. I did not like where my life was going. Where is that gonna lead you? You go to school for 4 years, you go work for 40 years, you end up in a cubicle with a suit on and a tie.
For instance, walking up to someone and uttering Philadelphia, he takes out his earbuds, looking confused, prompting Ramsey to intensify his remarks about Hiroshima. Indeed, Nagasaki, given that both cities are urban centers and were subjected to bombing by the U.S. during World War II, resulting in the deaths of over 250,000 people, the man appears to be uneasy. Now you have an American, and the Japanese man would be unaware of his nationality, but he's likely an American sitting there scrutinizing him about these two cities. Johnny persists. What compels you to do that? The event at Pearl Harbor. He yells loudly on the train. Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Can you grasp the reasons behind our actions towards you? Your behavior is quite questionable. Once more, I promise. We reiterate. Do you understand? Revisit Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Are you familiar with Hiroshima and Nagasaki? We will reiterate. Nagasaki. None of the Japanese train passengers take action because they might prefer to avoid any conversation with him. Just the thought of one or two sends a chill down my spine. Is he carrying anything on the train? Is he going to repeat that on the train? Even responding can be perilous. Only a single American dares to approach him. A person of Korean descent who is also an American. Why not just overlook him? Just back off, man. What are you implying? The Korean American inquires, so where do you hail from? My country is the United States. So you're from the United States? I share that sentiment. You're really getting on my nerves, man. What actions are taken against you? A Korean American man finds himself in a state of confusion. What exactly do you do? They both hail from the United States. We will reiterate. What are you suggesting, Nagasaki? This is layered with prejudice upon prejudice. Ramsey repeatedly inquires about his origins until the Korean American responds, I'm from Texas, buddy. Ramsey continues to delve into his ethnic background. I am from Korea. Brother, take a seat. Why not take a seat? What happened to you during the Korean War? That's outrageous. A Korean American man tries to convey his message. Seriously? Your presence is quite bothersome. The discussion surrounding the Japanese individual needs to come to an end. North Korean War, what actions did we take against you? North Korean War, what actions did we take against you? One of Ramsey's initial videos that sparked significant debate, he resumes his live streaming antics on the streets of Japan, seemingly unfazed by the widespread disapproval directed at him. He was largely overlooked prior to this. This clip ignites intense reactions. There's a lot of chatter about him on X, and it's really bothering him. He broadcasts in real time. People are really angry with me. I couldn't care less. Quit treating nonsense with such gravity. Increased criticism leads to heightened visibility. Increased attention leads to greater profits. Increased animosity leads to heightened visibility. Increased viewership translates to greater revenue. You catch my drift? Simply continue streaming and amass wealth, immense wealth, that'll certainly ruffle some feathers. So you really triumph over these mainstream folks. Critics fuel my motivation. Having more critics can be advantageous. As an internet poster, I can assure you that when someone expresses that sentiment, they're clearly quite agitated. He asserts that having more critics and observers is advantageous. Honestly, I appreciate all the critics out there.
Yeah, Hiroshima? You know Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Why you do this? Pearl Harbor? Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Hiroshima, Nagasaki. You know why we do to you? Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Because you don't know how to behave. Wallahi billahi wa ta'ala. I swear to God. You do again, we're gonna do again. You understand? You don't understand our power. Hiroshima, Nagasaki, you know. You know Hiroshima, Nagasaki. We're gonna do again. Hiroshima, Nagasaki.
Do you understand what I'm getting at? This could be beneficial, as Johnny will encounter numerous individuals who oppose him. He's continuing to broadcast live in Japan following the viral video where he yelled at employees referring to the Japanese language as Mulan and mentioning Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Unavoidably, he faces scrutiny. A middle-aged man gestures rudely and crashes his bike into Ramsey. He finds himself facing a daunting situation once more in a dimly lit alleyway at night, completely alone. From the perspective of a motorcyclist, Big Bad Tough, Johnny Salami vanishes on the metro. Take a moment to unwind. Is he broadcasting in real time? Without a doubt, he has a laid-back demeanor. I remain silent. I'm merely relaying what was shared in the discussion. I have a strong desire to generate income, simply seeking to generate income, simply trying to get by. After dismounting his motorcycle, he trails him into the alleyway, because you're accommodating a user that raises significant concerns. This is her means of survival. Later in the stream, she breaks down in tears, which I found myself reflecting on. It's not just about him intimidating her position and instilling fear in her. Picture the experience of a Japanese streamer navigating life in Belgium. On another note, she's from Japan, isn't she? You come across this infamous streamer who attacked Japan. I can't shake the feeling that I should have spoken up, taken action, or made it clear that his behavior was unacceptable. As the spotlight shines, I denounce his actions, standing firm in my perspective as a Japanese individual. Also, how shocking! Your shock and fear are palpable, as his unexpected presence threatens your job security. While many might have expressed their frustration towards you for your silence, it's understandable that fear held you back. She is facing increasing scrutiny. Later, she tweets her gratitude to her wonderful viewers and mentions that they collaborated swiftly with Twitch staff to prevent an account ban. His helmet is removed. He questions, what's the reasoning behind that statement? What's the reason behind that? Someone proposed a financial incentive and urged me to express it. Absolutely not. So I boldly stated it on the train. It was a transaction, plain and simple. I have money, all right? Speak your mind, do you get it? I'm aware, but it's not good. A Japanese man communicates in English. Johnny calls the police, claiming that the man made threats against him due to his affiliation with the Yakuza. That seems rather peculiar once more. His confrontational behavior at Miyako, a Japanese live stream, is yet another incident, emerging to provoke a response from her. She's taken aback. She broadcasts her gaming sessions in real time on Twitch. He cautions her, "Oh, you revealed that on your stream." Displaying the face of a streamer who has been banned on Twitch can lead to your own ban. I was overwhelmed with emotion, but I really hope he departs from Japan soon. I felt utterly powerless, as his presence seemed to render me incapable of taking any action. I appreciate your interest in this matter. Ramsey has issued multiple apologies in Japan. One clip depicts him bowing appropriately, yet his apologies lack sincerity. He offers 2 apologies in Japan, yet his remorse seems insincere. He seems to express remorse only when he anticipates backlash or consequences. And following his departure from Japan, he makes disparaging remarks about the country. Following an incident where he was choked out on the street by an unknown individual, he issued a widely discussed apology in Japan. Clearly, he feels no remorse. Following his apology, he heads to Disneyland, Japan, and begins streaming in real life, despite it being prohibited on televisions. Any Disneyland properties, yet he prominently displayed his speaker on his shirt to promote contributions. During live streaming, some platforms enable viewers to contribute financially in the moment. With a substantial donation, they can receive an automatic text, a song, or a sound played on his speaker. Numerous streamers tend to avoid this approach, as it essentially encourages viewers to contribute financially in exchange for the opportunity to dictate what the streamer must observe, hear, and respond to. I believe this might not be the most favorable approach. Unless you possess a strong community, which he clearly lacks. He sports this speaker on his shirt. His supporters contribute, express their opinions, and engage in activities as they please. The uninformed crowd at Disneyland in Japan engages with Sucky Sucky, Atomic Bomb, and F. Keeley as if they were mere background sounds. He also complained anime sounds cliched, very graphic sounds, perhaps creating that disturbance. Indeed, he is vocally pursuing Japanese high school students in public with those sounds. Japanese streamers track down his location and confront him directly. His apology lacks sincerity. Not exactly. He asserts he has autism, which I find hard to believe, and seems quite unstable. Because of the language barrier, they assume he apologized and depart. A stranger suddenly confronts him while he's dancing on a crosswalk, delivering a sharp slap to his face that sends his hat flying off. He consistently journeys alongside Gino in real life, his American streaming subordinate. He's the next version of Ramsey. His accomplishments in Thailand are certainly noteworthy. The shocking actions of a foreigner in another country behaving in ways they would never consider at home are being scrutinized in Thailand. Gino's Thailand experiment raises some eyebrows, but it seems to lack a sense of true fulfillment. With Ramsey, there's always a lot to discuss. They went their separate ways, and he took a stroll later that day. He's strolling down a bustling Thai street lined with numerous eateries, where crowds of diners are enjoying their meals on the sidewalk. Ramsey and Gino are walking down the street when a woman suddenly approaches them. In Japan, she's insisting on an apology for his offensive remarks. Ramsey and Gino accuse the woman of racism after she turns around. Accusing them of racism both during their broadcast and in public spaces, they turn their backs on the woman, and then another outsider emerges. He might have a European appearance. I'm uncertain. This is all unfolding right before his eyes. The act of smoking cigarettes. He glances at Ramsey and Gino with suspicion, then delivers a punch to Gino's face with such force that it prompts a donation from a viewer. Excuse me? Indeed, that's acceptable. Excuse me, what did you just say? It's ambiguous what actions were taken, yet Gino and Ramsey consistently received donations. You hear Mario collect a coin or whatever it is. One person yields when struck in the face, leading to you hitting Mario and collecting a coin. Is it suggested? Violence is wrong, but exceptions exist. I feel amazing. Some native Japanese people clapped when these guys got decked, which says a lot. Given how public problems are handled here, what do you expect from this guy? The Ramsey who hit minors is on tape. He named the video immediately. John Salami becomes P. Diddy. He's live streaming on the street disliking chicks. Finally, they question the females, their ages, both 16 and 17. He tells these girls he's 23 and says it's fine because the age of consent in that area is 16. He's ready for jail regardless of age. He doesn't care. He assures the females, I'll groom you. Going to the gym, first and second wives, don't even... Do they grasp his message? Yes, and they're panicking, kissing their hands. He says, hey, call me Johnny 16 to acquire their digits. Call me Johnny 17. I don't care. Similar to P. Diddy, similar to Epstein, similar to R. Kelly, don't care. Age is simply a number. You need a wealthy, older man, not from here. I'll take the girl and leave like Diddy. Like Diddy, I'll fly away. I'm done. I leave on a plane like Diddy. Like Diddy. Similar to Diddy. Furthermore, he has claimed that women are lesser beings meant solely for exploitation in reproduction. Steer clear of participating in elections and expressing opinions. In a surprising turn of events, Ramsey is arrested in Japan in 2023. Upon his release, he faces deportation from Japan and is prohibited from re-entering the country for a period of 5 years. He ends up in South Korea, a place where many believe certain topics should be approached with caution. Every nation possesses its own impenetrable boundaries. Comfort woman endures hardship in Korea. I understand that the term comfort woman may seem unusual to those unfamiliar with it, but it is the most widely acknowledged phrase in South Korea for the experiences of these women. Victims and survivors of the comfort women issue can be found in China, the Philippines, Taiwan, Malaysia, Indonesia, and across Asia. Many victims and survivors from those countries have adamantly rejected the label of comfort ladies. In South Korea, there is a preference for the terms slave victims or survivors, with many comfort women expressing a fondness for the gentleness of this terminology. Many Koreans are more familiar with this terminology, so altering it would likely lead to greater confusion. Nonetheless, ongoing torture and essay have subjected them to victimization. Clearly, this term does not downplay the events that occurred. The Japanese military forcibly recruited hundreds of thousands of girls and women during World War II to serve as comfort women. As I mentioned, various sources report that the victims included individuals from Korea, China, the Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, Taiwan, Thailand, Vietnam, and more. This could be the most painful chapter in South Korea's history. It's among the most contentious issues as it creates a rift in the political discourse. Certain Japanese politicians have attempted to reshape historical narratives, arguing that there is insufficient evidence to support the established accounts. There is a significant consensus that Japan obliterated numerous records, such as the Comfort Women Station documents, which renders the assertions made by these politicians quite tenuous. Japan recognized the wrongdoings in 1993, yet South Korea and numerous other nations viewed their apology as lacking, considering the severity of the war crimes. While Japan criticized the call for additional apologies, they express regret. Looking for something else? You're not without your own imperfections either. Their use of whataboutism is pervasive. Reflect on the actions taken by South Korea regarding blah 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 and so forth. Moreover, the two nations are currently in disagreement over territorial claims and various other matters. Japan asserts that the matter of the comfort women has been conclusively and permanently settled. South Korea asserts that the current situation is inadequate and that reaching a settlement holds little significance. It certainly does not erase history. South Korea insists on ensuring it is never forgot. While seeking forgiveness is an option, South Korea might not be inclined to accept such apologies, especially if it lacks authenticity or suggests they'll overlook past events. Numerous statues have been placed globally, particularly outside Japanese consulates and embassies, while Osaka, Japan, and San Francisco, America, maintain a sister city relationship that is largely symbolic. Following the unveiling of a comfort woman statue in San Francisco, Japan cut its sister city relationship. Japan, home to a significant Asian demographic, expressed that the Comfort Woman Memorial erodes trust. The statue depicts 3 young women representing Korea, China, and the Philippines, the regions most affected, interlinked in a circle. The statue serves as a reminder of the countless comfort women and girls who were subjected to enslavement by the Japanese Imperial Armed Forces across 13 Asian Pacific nations between 1931 and 1945. A 10-page letter from a Japanese official stated that the inscription, quote, presents dubious and biased assertions as historical truths. From what I can gather online, it appears to be quite a divisive issue, even in Japan. Numerous younger Japanese netizens express surprise at the actions of the Imperial Army, attributing their lack of awareness to omissions in their textbooks. Education fails to cover this topic. They portray it as if women were uniquely tortured during war. Yet this is a practice seen across all nations. It is what it is. Conflicts often unfold in such a manner. Regrettably, a significant number failed to grasp the extent of its severity. Older generations are at odds. Many in the older generations view it as terrible and believe it needs to be addressed. Yet other contentious disputes between nations call for varied strategies. A significant faction of Japanese right-wing lawmakers and their backers believe that South Korea and the international community ought to put the past behind them. They dismiss Japan's participation. When it falters, they list the errors made by South Korea. They also reject the events that took place in Nanjing. It seems that a select few individuals within the Japanese online community possess all the knowledge, yet choose to reject it. It seems that the younger generation in Japan may not share the same perspective. Honestly, I can't say I've come across that before. A survivor demands a formal apology. They ought to acknowledge that we made numerous mistakes and will update our history textbooks accordingly. We express our sincerest apologies. They might earn our forgiveness if they deliver a sincere apology. It's not about the financial aspect. To begin with, they are 90 years old. It's not about the financial aspect. We strive to maintain the issue at the forefront, whereas they seek to eradicate it entirely. This is a significant moment in time. History is a subject that often sparks intense debate and differing opinions. Due to the government's prolonged inaction, she expresses, I find myself compelled to continue discussing it, and with each conversation, my heart breaks even more. In my 90s, I ought to find tranquility. Did a comfort woman really say this? Indeed, she reached her 90s and sought a formal apology, yet she passed away at 92 in 2019. In her 80s, one Chinese survivor remarked, "The longer I live, the worse it gets." Ramsey, an American visiting South Korea, arrives decades after these survivors were denied justice. He showcases a phone photo during a live stream. He claims it's his next objective. This one is located where? The statue of the Comfort Woman is captured in his phone photo. The statue features a girl in traditional hanbok sitting on a chair, reflecting the fact that many of the casualties were teenagers. The statue's features highlight her exposed feet and elevated heels, representing a sense of unease. You experience a sense of vulnerability and instability. Your heels are elevated. This raises concerns. Below her lies a mosaic depicting an elderly woman, symbolizing the enduring pain and brokenness of comfort women as they age, struggling to manage. Everyone seems to be on edge. A small bird perched on the girl's shoulder represents her pursuit of liberation, while an unoccupied chair stands beside her. It symbolizes those who lost their lives. Nonetheless, it serves as a platform for reflection on past events, the potential for personal growth, and the endurance of individuals in their struggles. The creator of the statue expressed that sentiment. Her hands clench. In an effort to prevent the small girl from displaying any signs of sadness or anger, she puts considerable effort into her expression. She aims to project an image of authority and resolve, as this statue is intended to stand in front of the Japanese embassy in South Korea. To demonstrate the significance of this statue to Koreans, individuals frequently adorn the little girl's neck with scarves during the winter and in times of heavy rain. People often shield her with umbrellas. They'll drape it over her shoulder to shield her from the rain. However, Ramsey, an American live streamer, chooses to broadcast a statue of a comfort lady. There are many, but he focuses on one live stream. He has faced expulsion from Japan and has relocated to Korea. His live stream reveals the discovery of the Comfort Woman statue. This indicates a clear comprehension of the statue's significance. Japan has a strong aversion to this, he claims. This statue is widely disliked in Japan. Any statue in front of a Japanese embassy ignited intense discussion. Occasionally, the ambassadors come back following a dispute. Individuals take to the streets in dissent. Individuals stand watch over the statue to thwart any attempts at its removal. It holds significant importance. Indeed, numerous activists believe it benefits their cause, as Japan's significant actions bring attention to the Comfort Woman sculptures. His small assistant Gino inquires, "Explain your reasoning." The statue's narrative is quite provocative and thought-provoking. Ramsey hands Gino the camera for his webcast, sparking a mix of reactions. "I support the Korean people," he states, taking a seat on the empty chair beside the girl. "I have a deep appreciation for Korea, which is why I dedicated my efforts in Japan to cater to the needs of Koreans and Chinese." He provocatively kisses the camera. He turns his cheek to the side and kisses the small girl, provoking outrage among South Koreans and others due to the statue's implications. This is not a carefree girl statue. This intriguing little guy understands the significance of this monument. Planting a kiss on her cheek, only exacerbates the situation, as he is bound to repeat his actions. People have reacted, he observes. It is stirring up quite a bit of discussion in South Korea. What could possibly lead him to kiss her cheek? This is appalling, yet their lack of outrage is strikingly evident. This is deeply offensive. Do you think he intended that as a slight, or was it simply a matter of ignorance and cultural insensitivity? He claims to represent Koreans, suggesting he might be trying to rescue them. Claim he advocates for the rights of comfort women. The entire situation is quite peculiar. Despite his confusion, he shares his thoughts with his audience after witnessing the response. I'm heading to the Japanese embassy today. Due to the outrage surrounding the Comfort Woman statue from the Koreans, we're heading to the location of the prominent statue of the Comfort Woman, which is situated in front of the Japanese embassy. I plan to visit the embassy to inquire about my identity and whether I can return to Japan, but my first stop will be the statue. Ultimately arrives at the embassy, where the same Comfort Woman statue is displayed, and he plays ETA by New Jeans while twerking. In front of the statue, on her lap, and behind the small girl's back, he tucked her head into his shirt. As he twerks, he positions himself directly in front of the camera. He sensually licks his fingers, teasingly pulling her skirt in and out once more. This motion could certainly spark some debate. His hand slips beneath her skirt, indeed following the act of licking his fingers. Far beyond. This clip goes viral, yet there's more to come. He seeks to revisit the statue, yet the footage has sparked significant outrage among Koreans. Leading to restrictions on his access, he observes another comfort woman standing. He slathers baby oil on himself as he dances provocatively on the statue to a Diddy song. The quest for Ramsey starts now. Ramsey and Gino have been behaving as though South Korean social norms and consequences are irrelevant, and prior to the comfort women's sculptures, people were quite accommodating, communicating to them in a considerate manner that such actions are not permissible. He broadcasts blaring tunes from a bus in real time. He's playing music loudly in public. He broadcasts in real time. Ramsey gives Gino's backside a playful smack as he dances on the bus. This is quite unexpected in South Korea. This is not acceptable behavior. This is not advisable for use on public transit. Refrain from taking that action. Indeed, they are aware. They expect a response, absolutely. Consequently, they proceed with it. It's not as if they were oblivious. Many South Koreans, and I believe Japanese, view phone calls on public transit as a breach of etiquette. Or maintain a subdued volume, extremely minimal. Steer clear of causing any disruptions to others. The authorities halted the bus and commanded him to cease movement. While they maintain a courteous demeanor, it's clear that Johnny lacks any rhythm on the dance floor. Your dancing skills leave much to be desired. Authorities claim that dancing is not permitted. This reflects the essence of American culture. Although he asserts that this represents Black American culture, we recognize that it does not and see through your intentions. All Black netizens are raising their eyebrows at him. A significant number of Black netizens have voiced their discontent regarding the challenges they face when attempting to visit homogenous countries like South Korea, citing experiences of racism. Johnny could be complicating the journey for those seeking to explore and immerse themselves in different cultures. He ridicules significant American concerns as well. A man, identifying as American, creates a scene on a South Korean subway train, shouting in response to what he perceives as stares and the possibility of police involvement. He has a tendency to be overly anxious. He suggests that they are likely contacting the authorities. He passionately exclaims phrases like Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, I can't breathe. This derisive tone, I'm struggling to breathe, George Floyd. Strolling through the subway, shouting phrases like Black Lives Matter, George Floyd, I can't breathe. To be frank, there seems to be a lack of interest in him. He faces significant rejection in Japan. Korea has no interest in him. The nation has made its stance clear regarding him. He claims to dance within the realm of American culture. The police have made it clear that they are indifferent. You are indeed a dancer. Indifferent. It's a place that often sparks debate. He claims the concert is free. Step off the bus now. They forcibly take him off the bus. It's hardly shocking that these individuals react negatively when women don't see them as appealing, leading to a deep-seated resentment towards all women. It's difficult to understand how anyone could perceive them as anything beyond mere biological entities occupying space. No intelligence is present in that space. The elevator halts abruptly. Lights are on, but there's no one around. They broadcast instances of street harassment directed at women in real time. They encounter individuals from abroad who are either visiting or residing in Korea, typical outsiders who adhere to cultural practices. Gino the Minion unexpectedly reaches out to one of the girls while he stands there. Unrefined emo, keep moving, leave this place immediately. Sashimi, roast meat, unpleasant odor, get out of here, embrace my challenge. Hey, just keep it moving. Your situation likely has an unpleasant odor. It's quite unpleasant. I'm really fed up with these people. Always the disrespectful, outsider, privileged individuals. I absolutely loathe them. I strongly dislike them. I can't stand these people. What he would face on the streets of America could be quite intense. It doesn't matter which city you step into America. Prepare for a reckoning. You'll face some serious consequences in the country. Prepare to face some serious consequences in NYC. Wherever you go, you're bound to face some serious consequences. They stand out in South Korea due to the general restraint of the people. This behavior is unfamiliar to everyone. Indeed, it seems that every culture has its own complexities, often rooted in troubling histories. South Korea embodies a culture that often emphasizes personal boundaries, showcasing both its strengths and challenges. In South Korea, individuals often overlook racist slurs, which contrasts with the situation in America. Unacceptable, many argued. What's the reasoning behind that statement? That is simply not tolerable. He also perceives many East Asians as lacking assertiveness, overly courteous, fragile, submissive, and fearful. His actions stem from that reason. In America, he wouldn't dare to attempt even a fraction of that. Absolutely not. As soon as an individual takes a stand, they quickly retreat, and it's clear they are aware of the previous attempts in Thailand that ended in failure. They stopped, not due to online users questioning, why not attempt this in Brazil? Or suggesting a trip to Mexico. Your presence is desired. A significant number of online users from those countries are eager for Ramsey and Gino to make a visit to witness the events firsthand. Yet he intentionally selects nations for that very purpose. He approaches a Korean woman, simply existing in her own way. Gino the Minion has a peculiar desire that raises eyebrows. He utters a statement that leaves her puzzled, then proceeds to make a crude gesture by sticking his tongue out. What constitutes the act of harassing a woman in public spaces? It seems they are preying on young individuals. Ramsey chases after a seemingly young girl into a store, questioning her about her evident fear of him. As she sidesteps him by heading to a store, he questions, "What makes you so afraid? Why do you seem so frightened of me? What's holding you back?" which involves aggressively pursuing her with a camera as she enters a business. I believe that could instill fear in individuals. Ramsey erupts in outrage as the employee assists the girl. "Keep your distance from me! Keep your distance from me!" He sprints towards a group of older women on the street, his laughter echoing with a wild intensity, as I mentioned. What's your thought on this? Tell me in the comments.